This episode of the Date Podcast is sponsored by Bopsy. Meet up to 6 people over mobile video. It's video speed dating. Download Bopsy in the Google Play Store or iTunes. Check out bopsy.com.
We know you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. I understand I'm both an LPC and an LMFT. However, this is not intended as a substitute for professional services of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services.
Hey everyone, it's Zorric.
And Emma.
Hosts of the Date Podcast. We're so excited to do another show for you today. We have a few thought-provoking topics and a guest. His name is Adolfo.
Ooh.
Hey Adolfo, how's it going?
Hello, how you doing?
Good. So you are a social media personality, radio personality, Oak Cliff native. I mean, you name it, he's everything.
Yep.
We're going to talk more about him in a few minutes.
But first, we'd like to ask for your help. We're available on iTunes and Google Play. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, hopefully an amazing review. Also, tell your friends about the podcast. We appreciate the feedback and support. If you have any questions, comments, or show topics you'd like for us to discuss, leave us a note at hello@datepodcast.com or on @datepodcast on Instagram and Twitter. Now to the fun stuff.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so I was really torn into like what I wanted to talk about. But I think I chose the one that is like speaking to me like at this moment.
Is it Oprah speaking to you at this moment?
No, it was not Oprah. I was channeling her earlier though.
Okay.
So I'm like obsessed with this whole like in my feelings challenge right now.
Is that the Drake one?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a Drake one. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. I love it. So I keep listening to that song like over and over and over again. And it got to the point where like at work, I like played the clean version for the kids I was working with.
Wait, I don't know what that is. Enlighten me, Emma.
So it's basically the song that's called In My Feelings by Drake, and it's on his Scorpion record, right? Sure. And then, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm right. And so basically it was this dude, this Instagram user called the Shiggy Show. I hope I'm doing that right. Like whenever Drake sings like, Kiki, do you love me? He does like this. And then they do like I'm driving. And whenever they say like, are you riding? Like in the song. Anyways, it's a dance move. I like it.
Is it like the Macarena or something where you're just kind of going along with the song?
I just know this part.
Uh-huh.
And I know this part.
Mm-hmm. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, that's all I know.
So
but I'm
what's the
obsessed with
challenge?
it.
Like, what is the challenge, though?
Like, you like take a video of yourself, like dancing to the song.
That's a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because I've actually heard a lot of. I heard this interesting take on this podcast I listen to called The Daily Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Sorry if I plug other podcasts.
It's
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll ask for money.
Already
later.
know it. No, okay.
But yeah, they were talking about how like these challenges are sort of like our new form of interacting socially, like a new form of it. Because like you can interact with complete strangers by just using a hashtag.
Right, yeah.
As opposed to just like approaching complete strangers and just say, hey, what's your deal? Let's be friends, you know? Because I think that for a lot of people, like that need for connecting with another person is so like built in our DNA. Because
for sure.
So like that's what these challenges are all about.
Yeah. But Will Smith has done it. Sterling K. Brown has done it. Some other Real Housewives that I follow have done it. So anyways.
So what's the deal with Will Smith? Like, is he become like full on like self-help guru now?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know. He was one of the singers in the World Cup song this year, and I didn't know it until like Nicky Jam sang the song, and during the closing ceremony, it's like all of a sudden I see Will Smith and all of his Instagram posts, and I'm like, what? And then I see him like singing, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm like, so Will Smith is like coming back. Right? Or he's trying to come back. I don't know. Is he back?
He's always been relevant, right, Adolfo?
Oh, yeah.
That dude has like leaps, has made leaps and bounds. Yeah, like movies.
Well,
on
if you
TV.
think, well, the thing is, if you really tracked his career, is like really interesting. He started as like, he was like one of the original like, cool modi like kind of like rappers. So like, and the thing is, what's funny is like he was known for. What a completely underrated thing about his rapping is how he can tell a story, but like be like very clean about it.
Yes, because I was listening to Eminem this past week. I forgot what song it was, where he was like, "Well, Will Smith doesn't have to cuss in his raps, but I do. So blink him and blink you too."
Well, yeah, that is comparing like mashed potatoes and corn there.
No, that is.
Like they're both great. They're just in their own different way. And but what's really interesting too is like then he got, became like a hit in the 90s with like being on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Then he did like a lot of indie movies. He was like on a Requiem for a Dream, and he had an acting career.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And
I guess I should.
And I think what's interesting about him is just like he's very in touch with what's going on in the world, that he capitalizes it.
I do like that he is hanging out with like a lot of like the Spanish artists that I like, and so they're always posting about him like being part of like the Hispanic culture. So I appreciate that a lot. So I like him for that reason. But then I remember, never mind, I'm not gonna go there.
Gotcha.
All right.
So do you guys use Alexa at home, Adolfo?
I use Siri a lot.
Siri.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a no. That's a hard no.
Yeah.
But for the
sorry to interrupt, but for me it's like so what's like the major difference between like Alexa and Siri?
Well, it's Alexa's smarter than Siri. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I don't know the difference.
No, but I feel like it's more user friendly. There's more things it can do. But then I'm an Apple person.
Okay.
So I'm all Apple. Right?
Yeah.
My Mac, my phone, everything, iPad.
I feel ya.
So it was hard to like buy the Alexa, but then when I bought it, I just fell in love. It's like
Zorric's like so in love with Alexa. It's like not even funny.
Yeah, and what I found out is that you can listen to us, everyone, on Alexa.
What?
Yeah. Here he goes. So I use the keyword echo. So echo, play AnyPod, the Date podcast. She's not working. Echo. Hold on. She's not cooperating right now. Echo, ask AnyPod to play the Date podcast.
I don't know that.
Oh.
She's mad at you
She's
because
mad
you
at
have
me.
the other one now.
I know. Okay, third time's the charm. Okay.
Okay.
Echo.
Does she have to be red?
No, this is the second one. We have two connected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this one's connected to us so that everyone can hear her, but she is not cooperating. Echo, ask AnyPod to play the Date podcast.
I think you're looking for Shep a Day Fat.
Oh my gosh. So this is
It
not...
worked. It worked before we started recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I second that.
This is live. So that's cool. So you can find us on the app called a skill, which is a feature on Alexa called AnyPod. And Emma is laughing at me because I failed at this, but it's
I
okay.
think you're looking for
But-
allegedly with Theo Von and Matthew Kohlweiss.
Echo,
Would you like to hear
Echo,
it?
stop.
I think you're looking for allegedly with Theo Von and Matthew Kohlweiss.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
No.
Okay. Would you like to keep searching for so you can find this on the app? It's called Skill, which the feature on Alexa AnyPod and
Whoa.
Laugh.
No. She's taking over.
Okay. Can I do anything else for you?
No.
Well, she's definitely can understand more words than Siri.
Oh
That's
my
for
God.
sure.
I feel like this is a good example of what Zorric's dating life
I
is.
know. It's a train wreck to the nth degree.
But I got some stories to share.
Okay. Well,
Sure.
speaking of stories, Adolfo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So this is like a date. I'm on a date, and I'm sitting down, and it's like
He's even giving you wine. He's like whining
I'm trying
and
to whine
dining.
Oh,
down,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Adolfo, tell me about yourself in a sexy tone.
Ooh.
Like,
well,
where are you
either
from? You said Oak Cliff.
I grew up in
okay.
Oak Cliff, and for a lot of the people who might be listening, because I actually spent some time in Boston. Oak Cliff is a section of Dallas
Yep.
where it's that is somewhere in the southwest part of the city, and it's so we have our own little like culture, our own little vibe going on there. So much so that we're known for having a T-shirt of a stick figure putting another stick figure in the trunk of a car. So.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I have a family in Oak Cliff, and the joke became like, don't go to Oak Cliff by yourself after like 8 o'clock.
Oh, and it still persists today.
Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised by that because, I recently came back home for being in Boston for about 12 years. And the neighborhood's definitely changed a lot. Bishop Arts District.
Oh, lots of good
It's
restaurants.
being gentrified.
Definitely.
Let's not beat around the bush. It's being
It definitely
gentrified.
is. But what's really interesting is the rate it's being gentrified.
Yeah.
It's like really slow in my opinion.
Have you heard of? Oh, I'm gonna not remember his name, so I'm sorry. But he has the little houses, the piñata houses.
Oh yeah, I've heard about
Quien
this.
Manda. Yeah. So like that's kind of like this artist in Oak Cliff has created these little like sad houses. They kind of look like piñatas, but look in the shape of houses. And so like anytime that there's gentrification happening, he will find the place and put a little sad house. So I've been like part of like it's like become a scavenger hunt for me. So I haven't been able to find one yet. And
I saw one near
did?
my sister's place. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk later where it is, so we don't have to air out your sister's info.
Yeah, let's not do that. But
Yeah.
so family, kids, married, dating, like what's your status?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because what's really interesting is ever since I came back to Dallas, I've noticed that there are a lot of people my age who already have like kids and families and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, that's still pretty early.
Yeah.
You know, because in Boston, like that's another thing I've noticed. Like when I was in Boston, like I barely saw any kids.
Yeah.
At all, because everyone there is like hip, young, and single, and barely can afford the rent. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
is Boston more expensive than?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Definitely.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah. What's interesting is that you have to like earn like $38 an hour to afford a 1-bedroom like apartment.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh yeah. It's like almost getting up there to San Francisco, as far as like the just outrageousness of it is to live out there. And I was lucky enough I was living out there when gentrification was sort of happening. What's interesting. It's sort of how like it was because Boston's so dense. That means there's more people living within the city.
Right.
That you really see the differences like right away. You know, like I remember I shared a 3-bedroom apartment for like $500 a month, and after I left, it was like I was lucky to find a 1-bedroom apartment for $800 with 5 other people.
Whoa.
Wait, so how did you get from Oak Cliff to Boston? Are we skipping a bunch of things here?
I feel like we are. We like skipped the whole chapter.
Oh, this is like the Pulp Fiction. There's no order element in all this. So
I get that reference because I finally saw those movies.
Oh, no.
about time.
I know.
We just met, and I'm like, it's about time.
That's Emma's
Wait,
theme
is that
song.
my theme song? Are you serious right now? Are you serious?
You don't like it? Should we do something else?
Like, wait, like,
what?
what is the purpose of me having a theme song? Like, what? Like, what are you trying to get at?
It means you're proving a point, and I have to press this button.
Okay, so it's positive reinforcement.
It could be both. Positive and positive. What are you looking at?
I don't know. I have to think about this. But I can't believe it's called Emma. I'm looking at the iPad and it's
Well,
called
didn't
Emma.
Kanye once said that everyone should have their own theme music?
Yes.
I do, but I thought mine was going to be more like Downton Abbey.
Okay, anyways, I don't continue.
Oh, so I graduated high school early because I was like, you know
An
what?
overachiever.
Yeah, like
Too smart.
I did the math and I was like, you know what? I only need like 2 credits to graduate in high school. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to examine those credits and like get out of here sooner. And so, I went to Mountain View. What? And
Grand Prairie, right?
Oh, Mountain View's in
It's
Oak Cliff.
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's across the
Get
street.
it together.
Oh my gosh.
It's across the street from my high
Retract.
school. I
Yeah.
went to Molina.
Oh,
And
you went to Molina?
I did. So you know my rep.
My
We were
cousins went there.
we were featured on America's Most Wanted.
Wow. Claim to fame.
Oh yeah. And,
That's legit.
oh yeah. So I was going to college, and I used to listen to the show called Teen Talk, and which was on KNON. And,
Okay, no, is that AM?
FM.
FM.
Yeah.
FM.
89.3.
And it's still around.
And it's
Is it
still around.
really?
They
Yeah.
recently moved to a different building. I
Oh my
recently found
gosh.
out. So I used to listen to Teen Talk, and they were looking for a new teen co-host, and I was like, I'll do it. And I interviewed, and I got the job, and I did.
Wow.
And I did it for about 3 months, and I realized I'm not very good at this, so I'm gonna learn how to how to do radio. And
Nice.
so at the time, Kidd Kraddick in the Morning, which is a very popular morning show.
Very.
I've never heard of them before in
Oh
the
my gosh.
Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Get it together, Emma.
I
Get it
don't listen to them
together.
at all, nor are they my preset.
And they had a big playcast window where you can sort of watch them do a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Las Colinas.
In Las
well,
Colinas.
Irving, yeah.
Yeah, in Irving, yeah.
They're still there.
Oh yeah, they're still there. Yeah, I popped in a couple of times, and so I decided to just for 3 months just sit down, take notes, see what they're doing, and for 3 months I will wake up every morning, just get there, watch the entire show, then leave. Then one day the producer there, his name is Rich Shertenliev, he asks, "So what's your deal here? What are you trying to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I just want to learn how to be better at the radio." I was like, "Well, why don't you become an intern with us?" And I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
Ooh.
So I was an intern with Kidd Kraddick. I had the pleasure and the honor of learning under his feet when he was still with us, and so I made a good impression with the producer. He wanted to do his own show. He offered me a job, and I was like, "Okay, I'm 19. I got nothing else going on."
Wow.
And so we auditioned in Boston. We got the job, and I was there for 10 years.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
you were on the air.
I was
right?
on the air, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was kind of like their stunt boy, their producer, their jack of all trades, their master of none kind of deal. So I've done stuff like let's see what I've done. I've been on ESPN with a giant fathead of the Third Mike's host, John Wallach. I've watched from Boston to Foxborough, which is about 23 miles, in within a day and a half. Let's see. Well, I've done other things I shouldn't say on this pod, but
Go ahead.
well, just go on YouTube and put in Hillary Clinton heckler. You'll find me. Anyway, a lot of people thought that might have changed the primaries there for the better, actually. But anyway, so but yeah, I did a lot of stuff there, and I had a good run. So then. Yeah, because like I said earlier, the cost of living in Boston was getting way out of hand.
Yeah.
And there were major changes happening on radio where, it wasn't what it used to be. So given the fact that, the changes in the industry plus the living conditions of Boston, there was no way I could make those two meet while still giving the exceptional content I was once given on the radio. So I decided to head back to Dallas and, especially with everything going on right now, sort of head back to Dallas and sort of figure it out.
Was that recently? You recently got back here?
I
or?
got back here back in February.
Oh, so yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's recent.
It's funny too. I actually I tried to stay in Boston 2 years after radio and try and get a job in the startup space, but it wasn't very easy because what's really interesting about the startup space in Boston is more business to business facing, and I'm more of a business consumer kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to because I try to get into content marketing, and because for me I'm I could make content. I did it for 10 years for 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's easy. But I never really had the experience of doing it on a professional level. So
Yeah, so you did social media at the station for 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I
You did
did
everything you said,
Oh yeah,
right?
I did social media. I edited and uploaded the podcast. I did like a lot of like content for the internet stuff.
Was it a podcast or live show?
It was a live show.
Live show. And then
Live hour,
you were
4
like-
morning. We were the #1 show in Boston.
Wow.
Wow.
We've
That's
actually
awesome.
won a Marconi. And a Marconi is kind of like the equivalent of winning an Emmy in radio.
Oh.
So, like,
Emmy
yeah.
winner here.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Well, Marconi.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not that big of a deal.
Are you going to be in the Radio Hall of Fame soon?
Yeah. Who knows?
No,
You know?
maybe.
Hey, once they let podcasts again, who knows? The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that for a while, and it was a good run. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like a great way to spend my 20s, especially with like what's going on, especially because it kind of gave me a leg up when it comes to like meeting people. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
So speaking of meeting people, let's go into your dating experiences.
Yeah.
So what happened in Boston? Did you meet a lot of people
Oh yeah,
through
and-
school or through just out and about bars? Like, how did you meet people over there?
Well, it's funny because in Boston, I tend to stick out like a sore thumb because not a lot of people look like me out there, And by me, it's just, let's just say I tan well in August. And so like I was very easy to spot. And so a lot of people knew who I was by sight alone.
gotcha.
Before I said anything, they're like, hey, it's Adolfo.
He's on the radio. He's a
on the radio."
celebrity.
It's like,
There he is.
everybody. It's like, it was great whenever I got, free drinks and every once in a while.
Yeah.
But there was times where I'm like, I totally get, I guess that's when I really understood what intersectional feminism was, and how like, oh, I get the intention of guys that I don't want to hang out with.
Oh, you're the hot chick.
Yes, I was.
Cat caller.
Oh yeah, I completely sympathize, so which is why I'm an ally, and
Gotcha.
and so like there, because like especially in sports talk, there's this like frat bro culture.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not my speed, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a dork, and I like, sci-fi.
Somebody
and
was asking me if I listened to a certain radio show. I'm not going to name it here. And I was like, no. I was like, I've heard them a few times and it's definitely not my style. Like, why would you think that I would want to listen to that?
Was it Russ Martin? Because he rules.
I won't say who it is.
Is it really bad or something? Or
It's just not my taste. I feel like
Okay.
they go very raunchy and I'm not a fan of that.
If it's Lex and Terry, I'm like, yeah.
I'm not going to say who it
is
is.
it on satellite?
I don't know.
Satellite.
Okay.
Let's see. But yeah, like
I told you I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Stop pushing me.
Okay.
but yeah, like so like when it comes to like meeting people, like I remember, and I was like in radio during social media. Like I went through my entire high school experience without social media.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
Can
how
I
old
ask
am.
what year you graduated in?
2003.
Okay.
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 Tracks. Yeah, MySpace became a thing in 2004, and that's what I got on because I just started radio.
Because I remember, like, I had a MySpace in high school, but I graduated in 2005. I also, like, I remember being invited to Facebook when I was still in high school because we had school emails, and so we could pretend we were college kids, basically.
You were there at the beginning.
Yeah, I was there
Yeah,
at the beginning,
wow.
and then I refused them.
And then here they are.
And here they are, taking
Running the
over my
world.
life,
Yeah.
So let me
telling me
ask-
to date.
So let me ask you: did you ever had the rigmarole of determining who your top 8 was, and did that ever
On Zynga?
Not Zynga, no, on
that's on
MySpace.
MySpace,
Yeah,
yeah.
MySpace.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was MySpace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, I remember it was such a big drama. And I was making sure, like, it was sparkly and making sure I had my song.
And it's funny because for me, like I was already out of high school around this point, and I actually met my first girlfriend on MySpace.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and she.
You're a pioneer.
I was. Yeah, I invented the sliding into the DMs.
Oh my gosh.
I also.
Trademark
Yeah.
We're gonna
Adolfo.
right here. You heard it first.
I
Yeah.
also invented Netflix and chill. Before that
No,
was
you did not.
Yes, I did.
No.
We'll get into it.
No. It has been decided that before it was Netflix and chill, it was like, do you want to come over and watch The Notebook? Because that's what happened to me.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like you've been notebooked.
What?
So that was before Netflix and chill. So you may have coined the Netflix and chill term, but in reality, it started being notebooked.
So, like, let me, without getting too much into detail, did they just happen to have a copy of the
No,
notebook?
I've told the story
around?
before. They didn't have the notebook. They invited me to come over and watch the notebook, and instead, like, they wanted me to watch Titanic.
But Titanic and the Notebook are the exact same movie. Just one has a boat and one doesn't.
Well, and one is like 3 hours versus
Yeah.
one's like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah, it's rich girl who meets poor boy and then has to choose between rich guy. It's the same movie.
Okay. So wait. So Netflix and chill. Where did that come from?
Well, I remember that being the
Origin story.
Yeah.
I think that was in the lexicon when Netflix started to become a thing. But I remember.
Wait,
When
like
did you
whenever
coin it?
Netflix was like DVDs or becoming like a streaming
Oh, that's a good
service?
question.
When it was starting to pop off as a streaming service.
Okay.
But the thing was, I legitimately did want to watch the catch up on Breaking Bad. I really did want to watch Breaking Bad and
Wait,
with the
Breaking
girl.
Bad's been around for that long?
It has.
Yeah, it's been like
years.
over 10 years.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just starting to get into it, and then I was like, it was the day of the second to last episode. I was almost caught up, and that the girl I was dating well, we'll get into that later.
Well,
but the girl I was seeing at the time, we were sort of like kind of on and off. And I invite her, and we were just, being friends. I remember inviting her to lunch and just like hang out. And then, hey, let's watch I'm almost done with Breaking Bad. Let's watch it. And, we went back to my place, watched it, and we started like hooking up again.
Oh,
But the thing is, I didn't do anything.
yeah.
I did not do anything. Like, I was just
lie.
she like
He's taking off his pants.
that's definitely a visual for a lot of people. Quite a rigmarole.
Oh my god, I can't right now. Okay. I need more wine.
But
Where's the wine?
yeah, speaking of, I can offer some of mine too. Anyway,
I'm
so
almost empty.
but yeah, like the thing was, she was very much a independent a person who had a free agency, and she also was a person who had desires, and so if she wanted to act upon it, who am I to deny?
Was that the
those?
first time you guys hooked up when you guys watched Netflix?
No, we've hooked up plenty of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was just things got kind of weird because, like I said, I'll get to that later. But yeah,
He's deflecting.
Yeah.
He is deflecting.
But yeah, but there's
hardcore.
the time,
It's
like-
okay. He's
It's
eventually
okay.
going to tell us,
It's okay.
right? So
No, well,
if I take the long route, it's fine.
no, you know what? Screw it. I'll tell you.
Yes.
So I remember going to this party at around New Year's Eve, and there was a lot of people who already knew who I was from the radio, and it was like half bro dudes, like it's like, hey, I'm shaking hands, kissing babies, all that. And we were just crashing a party. I had friends with me who knew the people who lived there, and I was like legit surprised, like that anyone knew me there. So, and then I started talking to this girl,
Ooh.
and things were starting to hit off pretty well. And then,
How did you know? What were the visual cues? Like, how did you know? Is it because she was maybe talking to you more, or did you guys?
Was she like flirty?
Flirty? Did she touch
touching your
you?
arm?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
she was definitely touching me, and
It's so hot.
And of course, we were both pretty drunk at the time, but
that helps too.
Yeah. but no, we were we
Alcohol.
were definitely talking, and we were vibing. And the thing is, one thing I pride myself that I'm better than most is that I'm very good at picking up people, or not picking up people, but rather I can tell when people are interested. Because I try to be interesting, and
That's the first step, everyone.
I'm also
That is-
very modest.
I was like, I like that quote a lot. I like to keep people interested because I'm very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What did-
Interested
wait,
is
what did you say?
interesting.
We need to
I'm going to
trademark
write it
something.
down.
We need to
So
write.
what was that again? Repeat that?
Yeah. What was it?
I'm interesting
I'm interesting.
because I
No, I'm interested because I'm interesting.
I'm
There you go.
interested because I'm interesting. Got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
That's the
There you go.
T-shirt. We got merch, folks.
millions here. Okay, so you were talking.
So we were talking, and then I get a lot of these bro dudes who want to take pictures with me, and I'm like, sorry, I got to do this thing. And I think part of her was kind of impressed by that, but at the same time, she knew who I was.
yeah.
And so then I was like, hey, like this is probably gonna go on all night. Can I like just have your phone number and like maybe
Ooh.
get together sometime? And she was like, yeah, okay. So, and then we exchanged information, and so we exchanged information, and then I added her on Facebook, and I was like, hey, so who's the guy at your profile picture?
Oh.
And she was
my
like,
brother.
well, she said her ex-boyfriend.
Oh.
And I'm like, wait a minute,
no.
isn't he at this party like right now?
No way.
And I'm like, yeah, but we're still good friends. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that at the time because it turns out exactly what had happened. Yeah, she was exercising her independence, but wasn't informing the other party.
But how long were they broken up? I mean, was it recent?
No, they weren't broken up at all.
Dang.
I am
my
Mr. Steel Hero
gosh.
girl.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember that was somebody's AIM name. Someone in high school I knew, like, stole someone's girl, and his AIM name became Steal Your Girl, something,
Oh my
something.
gosh.
Mm-hmm.
But you did steal the girl, so you, you took her
So-
home and
Oh yeah, and well, so actually we met up for a date, and
Yeah.
then we got to know each other, and things went really well.
like that. Is that what happened at the?
I was like, oh my gosh, there's gunshots. Oh my gosh.
I'm having flashbacks of those clips. Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah. Unless there was like a kaboom.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
one of those, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Zorric.
I hit the grand slam that night. Let's just say that.
Oh my
Boy, that
gosh.
sounded way graphic. I didn't mean it like that. But yeah, we definitely hit all bases that night. Anyway,
Okay.
but so
you dated this girl, wait, like on and off, right?
yeah, but what was really interesting about the whole thing was that she said that we weren't really in a relationship. I'm
Ooh.
like, yeah,
What?
yeah,
I mean, like, what the hell?
wow, that's good timing. So like, and I'm like, well, thing is, we've been hanging out. We've been to museums. We've gone on dinners, and I'm like, those are dates, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
sound. Yeah, we weren't just hooking up. We were like doing stuff, and because that's my speed. I am very much a capital R romantic, and so like that's why I was like really confused by that. I'm like, so that means we just hook up, and so she's
Friends with
like,
benefits, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah, but
Sounds
she
like
never,
it.
but she never really said that either. She just said she wasn't.
Did you ask?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were.
She was
doing-
just hesitant then.
She was
Yeah.
really hesitant because she was dating someone else.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Were you like were you friends with her on social media? Like, remind me.
No, we were friends on social media. Yeah, I added her that night when we met.
Oh wow.
So
She's got like balls to do that. She's
Yeah,
got
she
like
does.
some.
Oh yeah, that's something I didn't.
She's got a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm hiding this. I don't believe in social media. Who do you think I am? I'd be like, I'm deleting my profile, and in reality, I'm blocking you.
But it wasn't open.
But no, it
No.
wasn't open.
An
No,
open relationship,
because,
no.
No, because the guy had the impression that they were still together, and I know this because he was being super passive aggressive on social media.
Oh my god.
Oh, he was
Oh yeah, like
towards you.
Oh yeah, like I remember I was like, I would say stuff on like her wall on Facebook about something, and he would say something about like, boy, I sure hope that, like I hope so and so would introduce me to you, her boyfriend or whatever, and I'm like, that's kind of odd. And at first I kind of brushed it off because I'm like, oh, it's just a bro dude who's probably jealous because it's me. Like I've always had hate because, of what I did and what I do there were just a bunch of dudes who wanted to do it. I'm like, well, you don't have the talent. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
Interesting, right?
Yeah, interesting is interesting.
And modest.
And modest.
We're learning things today.
And
We are learning
Adolfo.
lots of things today.
Oh, yeah, and pretty great. And so, yeah, and I was like, and he even like messaged me saying like, hey, should I be concerned that you guys are going out to like this place this weekend? And I'm like, no, I asked her out. She said yes, so I don't think so. And then he like got back to me like a day later. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, being such a douchebag. You were just
Well,
trying
how
to
was she? I want to know how she was spinning this. I want to know how you, like, how this all came together and like everyone found out everything.
Yeah,
I want to know the drama.
Like what happened?
Oh, the act
climax.
two.
Yes.
The act
Climax.
two.
Yes,
So
yes.
What happened was here's what's really interesting about the Northeast is that Boston is basically a really big town, and there are many other smaller towns around it. And a lot of those people live in the same town they've always grown up in. So they were very close in high school. And like half of her quote unquote friends follow me on Twitter.
Oh.
And so they were putting 2 to 2 together, and they're like, "Wait a minute, there's something going on here." And so the pot was getting stirred here, and they're like, so one day, like the quote unquote this guy's like homeboy was like, we went out for drinks, and he's like, "So what's going on with the two of you?" And it's like, "Oh, well, we're doing this." But I didn't go into much detail. I was like, we, go out for dinners and like go to the museum and stuff like that. And he was like, "Oh, well, that's weird because they're still together." And I'm like, I kind of figured that, but when you're in love, you don't see these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
You have those rosy colored glasses on
Uh-huh.
where nothing that the other person does is wrong.
Yeah.
So she found out that I met up with these people. And it's like, "Well, did you say this?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Ooh, shady.
And I was like, no. And she's like, "Well, they've like are saying that you did." And I'm like, I don't know. Hey, like I've been pretty open about this whole thing. Maybe they put 2 to 2 together. They knew who I was. So, and they know who your friends' friends are. So like, maybe that's what happened. So when in reality, I totally spilled all the beans.
Oh.
And because I was getting to the point where like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So, and then that kind of spiraled to where like, we just stopped talking for a while. And then I realized, her quote unquote friends were actually his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that was her like social circle.
Oh.
Ooh, that's always a bummer. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, when your only friends are the other person's friends.
Yeah.
One, that says something about you as a person. Two, what's going to happen when y'all break up? Because sometimes, like, that is inevitable.
Yeah. But I see your point, Adolfo, because like when you like a chick, woman.
Or when you like a boy.
Or boy.
Like for me.
I mean, it's like you have this like physical thing going on. You guys are hooking up, and then you guys are hanging out. You guys are talking, and you think it can progress, and you're not even looking at the other stuff. That's
I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
it's
this is
hard.
pretty common.
Yeah, it is very common.
Except for the like except for the melodrama. And but yeah, so and then I realized, she probably just wanted a friend, and I was like, you know what, let's just be friends, let's just hang out.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah, and then that's when I was like, let's watch Breaking Bad. and that's how we just got back
Netflix
on.
and chill
Yeah.
started.
So yeah.
Which I think you just. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
segue. Sorry, I was gonna try to be smooth about this, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. So now one of the things that we're talking or like we're looking at, which I hate, and I was reading this and I was like, it was hitting too close to home again too. It's like slow texting.
I hate texting. Texting is crazy because when we were kids, I would call somebody on the
When
phone.
I was a child, I would pick up the phone and call someone
Yes.
to Zorric.
Well, I'm much older than you, okay, Emma?
That is true. Thank you.
Well,
I am younger and smarter and prettier.
And it's
what
funny.
is
I
that
actually
sound?
had like a fear of calling people. Like,
Yeah.
I had like
Yeah.
an anxiety of it.
Well, I was always worried that like someone's parent was gonna pick up the phone, and then you're gonna be like, "Hello, may I speak with so and so?" And then
That's
you would.
That's embarrassing
Yeah.
because like you need to like muster up the guts to even call.
Yes, I think I'm gonna like. If whenever I have children, they're not getting cell phones. They're calling from a landline, and they're going to feel what that anxiety is. I'm gonna
Yeah.
force them.
Yeah.
They're
Or
gonna
you
have
should
to
just-
cope.
You should just give them a clamshell. You know, like
Flip phone.
Flip phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That might be for later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till they're like 15.
Gotcha. So what we're talking about today is we didn't really talk about this in the beginning of the episode,
No, we
but
didn't.
slow texting. This is an article in Rich Media.
Yep.
It's a blog. I
Rice
believe.
Media.
Rice Media.
.co.
Rich. Maybe because Adolfo said rich, but it's called slow texting, the new excruciating dating habit millennials deserve.
You know, I think that yes, we do deserve it to ourselves because we're so dependent on our technology that I think this is like our own punishment to ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't think like I generally deserve it. I think other millennials deserve it. I don't.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. So what is slow texting though? What is that?
So slow texting, this is according to urbandictionary.com, right? Classy. Is a practice that involves deliberately waiting an unnecessary amount of time, anywhere from 6 hours to days before responding to a text message. And I feel like we've all either been like guilty of slow texting or have received the slow texting.
I'm a notorious slow texter.
Are you?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, this goes beyond just dating. I think in relationships in general, especially with friends, because I had a friend.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, well, because I'm busy.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
But these people are doing it like deliberately.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Making people wait.
Oh, you
So,
know what? I've done that too.
Well,
One of the things,
yeah.
so like before we really get into it, like, okay, so one of my dating books that I read, right, whatever, being a woman and blah, 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 is talking, like, tells us to basically like slow text because it makes you more appealing. And
Yeah.
part of it, like, is a little frustrating for me because I'm like, if I'm appealing, like, the guy should just, like, my thought process is like he should just like want me. Like, I shouldn't have to like lure him or like leave a trail for him to like want me. Like, he should just want me.
He should.
But there's a saying that goes that absence makes the heart grows fonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like that's where like this is coming from is like if you're not responding to him, it makes you more like appealing. He wants to text you more. He wants to court you more. But then I get frustrated because then it's kind of like, okay, so like I'm waiting like I'll do like, I'll text, and then I'll stop and then like a dance, right? And then I'll text, and then I'll stop and nothing ever happens. So I'm like, then what was the point?
Yeah. Don't you think we've fallen into this like instant gratification thing? Like we want to text somebody right away and we want an immediate response.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I actually did a little reading today.
Okay.
Oh.
There was a philosopher by the name of Alain Bourgeois. I think he's French. Anyway, he wrote this. Well, he didn't write a book. It's actually a transcript of an interview he had called "In Praise of Love," where he said that the love is actually a quest for truth. Ooh,
Yeah.
Excuse me. And the quest for truth, it actually takes time, and you have to invest time to do it. And that's part of the reason why dating is so difficult nowadays is because we have not only that need for instant gratification, but also that we have these like parameters and expectations and all these things that we kind of obsess over the first encounter instead of letting things happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I do mention here is that like my generation and y'all's generation too, like those of us who are like not married or not in relationships, we feel like settling down is selling out, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and that's kind of like, in the sake of honesty, like that's something that I argue with my mom about, where she's like, Emma, just like, you know, there are so many nice men out there, just like date one. She doesn't talk that way, but that's how I impersonate her. And I'm like, I'm not settling.
Yeah.
Tell me all you want. I'm not settling. And so that's my argument. And so like reading this, I was like, yep.
And it's also a cultural thing too.
It is a cultural thing too.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm getting back into Texas mode. So I assume that you're Latina.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so like a lot of people our age are supposed to be like my parents at my age already had like a 10-year-old, you know, and like an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And on me, I'm like, I'm not even close to like having like, a relationship. Yeah. But at the same time, like the way things are going right now, it's just like we're nowhere near a position to be settling down.
I think in one of the last podcasts I mentioned like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where we're meeting all our needs and like we're able to like do the self-actualization piece, where we're able to figure out who we are before we can think like we're ready to be in a relationship. And so I think that that's also playing a part into it, because we're thinking like, if I want to achieve all these things, then I need to make sure that like someone else is meeting all of these things to be my match.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also at the same time though too, what's interesting is that it's also more like sort of like finding somebody who makes you want to be a better person. And like, and that's when chance come into play here. It's just that we go online and you know, try to pre-screen these dates and whatnot. And it's basically an arranged marriage if you think about it. But at the same, so we sort of have to let things like sort of like happen before we can actually like, you know, as opposed to like thinking strictly from a self-actualization point. Like, how does this person make you a better person?
Yeah, but
sorry.
No, but I'm saying, Adolfo. So, as a man, if you're doing this slow texting, like, what's in your head? Like, why are you doing this? Like, I think you mentioned you've done it before.
Oh yeah.
Why would you do this?
I remember when it was the hot new thing the kids were doing. This happened years ago. And I remember I did it because like I was new in town, didn't really know a whole lot of people. And I've always been a person who, like, now I've had friends tell me that I don't get intimidated. You know, and it's because I grew up in Oak Cliff. Hey, yo. Anyway.
Bishop Arts now.
No, yeah. Bishop Arts,
It's not gangster anymore. Go ahead.
Not anymore, no. It's very
little parts.
Cockrell Hill. Oh,
yep, Cockrell Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be doing, what is it called? The drive-by, the slow drive. What is it called?
Oh, slow drive, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that slow drive. You'll get pulled over.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get a ticket.
They always pull people over there.
I know, I was trying to go like the speed limit, and I'm just like looking ahead, like, just drive, look normal, just drive, look normal.
And so, but yeah, like what's interesting is like when I did it, it was just simply because, you know, like it was in the back of my head. I was just like, well, I can't come across too needy, you know, but at the same time, me personally, I knew myself well enough to know that I am very much a kind of a very, I would like to describe myself as like a dog. If I meet someone new, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? You know, let's get to know each other. I'm very eager to like, you know, get to know people.
Person,
but at the same time, I know at the time you can't do that. You have to play it cool.
Right. And because one of the things that they say here is that like you use the slow texting when you're wanting to be romantically involved with someone or you're interested in someone, and so you do the delay response as a calculated act so that you have the upper hand.
But do you do that, Emma?
Huh?
Do you do that?
What?
This calculated response?
Yes, I have, and it fails because then they're not interested in me anymore, and then I'm like, why did I do that in the first place?
Because of the patriarchy, that's why.
Yeah. So it says here there are 5 stages of this. Emma,
yes.
What is this? What's this talking about?
Which cracks me up because they compare this to like the 5 stages of grief.
Right?
But in like it's kind of like true.
Yeah.
So but you know, not as severe. We can get over it. We can get over the slow texting a lot easier.
Yeah.
So stage 1 is denial. Stage 2 is anger, right? So like their quote is, the longest I waited for a text reply was 120 hours or 5 days.
5 days is a long time. It's like, it's over.
Oh my gosh.
I'm done with you.
I'm done at that point. Like you wait 5 days to text me back. Like, all right, jerk, I'm done.
Yeah.
And are you guys familiar with the movie Swingers?
No.
Okay, so the movie Swingers has notoriety because it was Vince Vaughn's like earliest work, and in the movie, there is a specific. They mention how you get a lady's phone number and how the rules are you don't call her immediately. You call her the day after.
Yeah.
You know, that you have to wait a day. Yeah, 5 days, that's like...
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. That's like, that's cold fish.
And what's going through your mind, Emma, when you're waiting? Like anxiety? Like you're like thinking through your head, did I say something wrong? Did I text something wrong?
Yeah, like am I not appealing? Am I like what did I do wrong? Like what's wrong with me? And then I started internalizing this crap.
Yeah, it reminds me of like when my girlfriend's like taking a pregnancy test. I'm just waiting for the results. It's like that kind of anxiety.
Mm-hmm. No. I like how you're very casual about it.
That's me keep staring at you.
I'm just saying it's
I
that
don't know
bad.
how else to like undo it.
So it'll go away.
No, it won't.
But the anxiety is just excruciating. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, Emma. Okay.
Could you have used a different metaphor, like something that is actually like
A different
not
one?
like a pregnancy test?
Well,
It's
maybe
kind of like when you have to go pee.
Yeah.
And you had to hold it in for a really
Oh my
long
gosh, I'm in
Yeah.
a room full of men right now. I forget there's
Yeah.
more testosterone than there is estrogen.
Yeah.
I need more wine.
So hold on. So is anybody here too busy to text? So you get a text message. Is anyone here too busy to send a freaking text message?
I am when I'm at work and it's like my busy period, because I have busy periods where I'm like in meetings or I'm meeting with patients or like I'm running groups, whatever it is. So in those moments, like, no, I cannot text you. And so it might be like 3 to 4 hours before I can, because I'm actually like busy and, like I can send the text like I'm too busy right now. But then I'm like, then why am I sending this text? So then I'll wait till I'm done and say like, sorry, like, busy part of the day, like I'm back.
Yeah. But what would you prefer? Would you like a guy to text you and tell you, hey, I'm busy right now, let me text you later? Or would you rather him wait and, like you said, just text later when you're
I know,
you're free?
it depends on like where I am. Like if I'm getting, like if part of it like is the courtship and I'm getting to know the schedule, like I would rather know. So at the beginning, like of the courting, like yes, I will say like I'm busy. This is like my busy time right now. Like I'll text you when I'm done.
Yeah.
But like after I've spoken to someone for so long, then like I think at that point I'm hoping that you're conditioned enough to know that like, this is my busy time.
Yeah.
I'll respond to you like when I'm done.
I find forgive me for interrupting, but I find this very interesting because the thing is, for you, like this, like whenever you are having correspondence, like the guy is not a priority for you. You have a life of your own, and I find that very interesting because the thing is, I think for a lot of people, I think they sort of read too much or are obsessed too much about the relationship themselves. As opposed to what they have to do, kind of going back to the whole self-actualization thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gets people into these terrible relationships is how they are just more focused on like what people think of them as opposed to what they think of themselves.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So Emma, what are the next steps here?
Stage 3 is bargaining, and then stage 4 is depression. And then they talk about benching in this, and so benching.
Benching, like
Yep.
like they're setting me out, coach.
Like sports.
Yeah.
Like we're getting benched, guys. We're getting benched.
It all comes back to sports, ladies and gentlemen.
We're getting benched.
Oh my gosh.
Like what is benching, Emma?
So benching is when you're reserving, you become a reserve for someone who's keeping their options open. So instead of like committing to either dating someone or dumping them, you put them in this like mental
Like,
maybe folder.
Emma, you're benched. You're benched. It's not that abrupt. No. Okay.
I don't have anything to throw at you.
Okay.
Except
Continue.
this glass of wine.
No, I have to drink this glass of wine. And so like this is like you basically are someone that like you like the bencher could disappear from your life, right? And then we'll text you back like it's different from ghosting, but they'll come back either days, weeks, months later, or like they will be smart and like your Instagram post or like start sending you like these friendly texts.
Yeah, they like you, but not enough to like
Right.
be committed to you, right?
And it kind of goes back to that cultural thing. What and the thing is, what's really interesting, that in you speak Spanish, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like in Spanish, there's 2 different words or ways to say "I love you,"
Well,
what
once I
are
like
they?
you, once I love you.
Yeah.
What are they?
Let's be, yeah.
Okay.
Can we say
Te
it?
quiero means I like you.
Okay.
Te amo means I love you.
Okay.
Mhm. And the thing is, what's really interesting, if you really break down that latter translation, te quiero,
Yeah.
that means like I want you.
Yeah.
And then if you like translate that from the English, that sounds way more
That's
dense.
so hot.
Yes.
That's so hot,
That's a-
Adolfo.
But in Spanish, it's a completely different context.
Right.
It means we like you.
Right.
You know, and so but in English, then what's really interesting about English is that English is very precise in the way we describe things. So we give a lot of things a lot of meaning when there's, when even if it's like the smallest of things.
Right. Which is, I think, why I like Spanish. And it's also like a Romance language, right? And so but
Damn
that's what I
straight
love
it is.
about Spanish is that, like, you have, like, the te quiero and te amo to really help you, like, differentiate, like, where you are in the relationship. It's really difficult when you're in a relationship and, like, I mostly date guys who speak English, to where it's like, I like you, but I can't say that to you in English because then you're going to be like, you like me? That's it? And it's like, no, like, I deeply care, I'm affectionate about you, yet I'm not ready to say I love you because I'm not at that level, but I'm still, like, at this level where, like, I'm passionate about you.
Yeah.
I can't say that to you, though.
Oh.
But that's what's really interesting about English as well is that, like, we have that one word that can mean many things. Like, we don't have a te quiero in English. We don't have that way of saying I like you, because even when you go through that threshold, I am using Joseph Campbell terminology. When you go across that threshold, you're entering a different, like, level. Go back to what I was mentioning about Alain Boudoir, and it's how that love is a building of a commitment. And once you get past that chance encounter, that's a chance to seek truth. And that truth is whether or not this person makes you a whole, and how, like, you're not thinking just of yourself, but you're thinking about you and this other person and how you both fit into this crazy world.
That's so beautiful.
That's-
Where's my lobster? I need it now.
What's the last one, Emma?
The last one is acceptance.
Okay.
So, like, this is where y'all decide that you want to take it a step further by increasing the frequency of text or by actually initiating a meetup. Ooh, but a lot of times, like, what stops y'all from ever meeting up is the fact that, like, you prefer to have this offline relationship, right? Like, it's fun to not know, like, can this ever be?
Because it's perfect right now.
Right. It's
Right?
perfect right now because we don't have to see each other.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's also easier because you're presenting, like, a certain side of your personality that is, like, what you like to present, instead of, like, actually feeling like, oh no, they're going to learn all my flaws, they're going to hate me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, at the same time, developing a relationship on a digital platform, what's the difference between that and, like, having a Tamagotchi?
I remember those.
Yeah, it's just like, because, it's funny because I might be out of the game for a while, but back in my day, we, like, I remember, like, going out, like, every week, like, I would, like, find something to do like every week and, like, do it. With someone, and, like, if it's someone I was, like, interested in. So, like, is that so the frequency doesn't happen as much anymore?
No. No, a lot of people just text and
Yes.
text and text.
Text or message on the actual just app that they're using if they're meeting online.
Yeah.
And then this stuck to me because I was like, what? They're the people who slow text are not the ones you go to for lasting and meaningful connections. And I was like, ah. And they're like,
course
they're the
not.
forever alone folks. And I was like, I always joke that I'm going to be forever alone. And I was like, who won't admit it isn't life that's hard or other people that suck. They themselves have just given up. I was
The
like,
end.
great.
Sad story.
I'm gonna go cry now.
So moral of the story is, don't try slow texting, and if a guy's on the Facebook profile, don't add them.
Yeah. So Adolfo,
I'm also not a believer in, like, adding on social media
No.
until it's been.
we've talked about
Yeah,
it a
we've
lot.
talked about this
Oh
a
yeah, I definitely jumped the gun there.
So Adolfo, sum this up for us. Like, what should our listeners do about slow texters if they're feeling like they're being slow texted, and those that slow text other people? Like,
I think what's been like sort of the crux for a lot of people is just basically communication, and how people are very concerned about like just being open and honest and say that, hey, I really dig you, and I think, this, because the way we've been like talking, the way we've been hanging out, I think this could have a shot. But if you don't feel that way, then I gotta go.
Yeah.
And the thing is, but for a lot of people, that's a very difficult thing to do because you're making yourself vulnerable. And also, we sort of like have these like rules that we sort of like default on for no reason at all, when we realize that, yeah, we just sort of made this all up. So, so whenever we have like the courage and like passion to just like, let's just go gun ho and see where this goes. And if they don't feel the same way, then, it's not, goodbye, but see you later.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. It's from the heart, damn it.
Emma, what do you take away from all this?
I need to change my game as I look away from Zorric.
What I say is I'm pretty straightforward. If I want to hang, let's hang. I'll text you and I'll but sometimes you just can't expect the same straightforwardness from other people. Mm-hmm. There's this game you got to play and these rules that we made up, and it's ridiculous.
But if you guys really like the person, can I offer a little trick?
Give it to us.
All right. So, if you really want to get to know a person, you really want to spend time with this person, offer something big and outrageous and ridiculous, and say, "Hey, why don't we have dinner at this big fancy restaurant? On a Friday night." Chances are they're gonna say no, because that's a little bit too intense. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, understandable. Well, why don't we just grab some sushi and watch something on Netflix? And like, yeah, that's doable.
He's plugging.
Yeah, I'm going back to Netflix, baby. But no, like
Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
But like that's something called anchoring.
Gotcha.
And anchoring is like you ask for a big favor, and in reality, you want the smaller favor. And if you want to spend time with this person, I think this is a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's like a negotiation tactic, it seems.
It is. Yeah, that was one of my jobs as a producer on the radio. It was to convince people to make a fool of themselves on the radio.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think that's it. Thanks, Adolfo. You have so much great insight.
It's been my pleasure.
About radio, about podcasting, about life and philosophy and all that.
And the fact that he trademarked Netflix and chill.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And he won a Marconi.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, his head's gonna explode. We just keep talking about it. But
it's been nice. It's been a while since anyone has.
But thanks, Adolfo.
No, the pleasure's mine.
Okay, thank you. So that's all we have for today. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, comments, or show topics you'd like for us to discuss, you can drop us a note at hello@datepodcast.com or on @datepodcast on Instagram and
Twitter.